Hello and welcome to MissouriNet.com. I'm Bill Pollock. I'd like to say from the Learfield suite, but somebody was there. They were in my spot. I think we have some auditors in the building, and so I didn't want to interrupt them. So I got kicked out and got kicked into the break room with the old television set for it's like 90s back here. So anyway, glad to have you with us. We want to talk some Mizzou athletics with the one and only Matt Michaels from our Columbia affiliate KTGR. And Matt, I haven't talked to you in a while, but I saw an email from the University of Missouri that there's an opportunity to meet the Mizzou football coaches. And then I see the MC of the night is Matt Michaels. So why don't you tell us what's going on Monday the 15th?
Well, basically what it is, Bill, is a gathering for the Tiger Quarterback Club to kind of get to know the new coaching staff. Not just Barry Odom, but all the coaches, as far as I know, are going to be able to show up that night. So we're going to do a little Q&A panel discussion. It starts at 5:30, and there will be hors d'oeuvres, cash bar, all that good stuff. Just $10 to get in if you're 18 and older, and 18 and younger. I'm assuming you want to be with an adult because there's a cash bar and everything, but they get in for free. So that's actually pretty cool stuff. And, of course, all the proceeds go to the Tiger Quarterback Club to help benefit the football team. But it should be a good night. It's not going to be all strictly football talk. It's going to be a lot of, like, where you come from, who are you, is your family here, that sort of thing, so you can kind of get a little bit more of a personal look at who these new faces are, many new faces on the football staff this year.
Yeah. You know, what do you think about that? Barry Odom gets hired as the new coach. I don't want to say he cleans house, but he certainly wants to take this program in a different direction. What's your take on the hires that he's made so far?
I can't be upset about any of the hires that were made. Everything seemed to have a logical step. I remember the whole freak out for a while was, oh no, Pat Ivey might not be back. And for whatever reason, he's not back. He isn't. And then I saw Rourke Cutchlow in terms of strength and conditioning and said, okay, that's a decent move. I looked at Josh Heupel and said, yeah, that's a decent move, especially once we got into his offenses at Oklahoma, where it sounds like, according to talking to some Sooner folks, that he was kind of shoved out just because they didn't have a season of success like the fans expected there. So it didn't really sound like he was doing a bad job, meaning Heupel specifically. And I know that some folks have bemoaned the Oklahoma connection. I mean, Joe John Finley is a former Sooner. But hey, I mean, Barry Odom is A, for the Oklahoma area. He has a lot of ties there. And B, I mean, what sort of program would you like to model yourself after? If you're Missouri, I think aspiring to the top end in the long term, you'd want to be a program exactly like the Sooners and what Bob Stoops has built, notwithstanding some of the performances in some of the bigger games, which get people to make fun of them. But I really like everything that happened. And then the curveball with Chris Wilson at the very end in terms of the defensive line, I think bringing in Jackie Shipp was as good as you could do under those circumstances. You take him away from another Power 5 school. He's got NFL experience. He's coached some really good players, again, at Oklahoma. It's fine. It's fine to turn into Oklahoma, okay, Mizzou fans? I know a couple of you freaking out about that. It's okay. It's got a different brand name on it. It'll look different than the Sooners. I think things trended in the right direction with all the coaches, really, from a football standpoint.
And that really makes no sense. What difference does it matter where they came from or how they were groomed or where they played their college ball? These guys are all coaches. They're all professionals. They all want to have success. So what's the difference? You know what I mean?
There is no difference. And I think part of it, and understandably so, is Tiger fans are so used to having that continuity. Well, hey now. We're going back to that TV when you're talking about the losing TV behind you. That's from the losing era. No, they're used to having the continuity on staff. It's that simple. And so a lot of that continuity goes away. Though it was important, the two pieces that stayed that have been there for a long time are Cornell Ford in St. Louis and Andy Hill in Kansas City and beyond. And it paid big dividends this recruiting season because Missouri does not get the class it did in 2016 without Cornell Ford staying on the staff. I think that's pretty obvious. Able to go into the St. Louis area and get really solid talent. Trevor Sims from just on the other side, able to stay around. Got Harry Ballard to commit, even with some of his issues. I think that's going to be a great coup for the Tigers as long as he makes it on campus in the summer, as he's told us at KTGR he will. So having the continuity in the two major metro areas, I think, in terms of recruiting, was a big, big win for Odom. And if he had to keep any two people, you could have maybe argued Craig Kuligowski here too, because he's a great defensive line coach. But those two for sure from a recruiting spot, you had to have, and he did.
Matt Michaels is joining us. He's with our affiliate up in Columbia at KTGR. We're talking about Mizzou football. Gary Pinkel, when he was leaving, said, we got the program to here. I want to see the person that comes in next get it to here. You saw when they shifted over to the SEC that the recruiting trail also shifted into the Southeastern Conference area, that footprint. Now Barry Odom is going to take it back to Texas with that heavy emphasis there. Look, we saw Mizzou have some success, but they never won a Big 12 championship game. When they were recruiting in Texas. They didn't win a SEC championship while they were recruiting down there, so they go back to so is this a good thing, bad thing, or are we just kind of spinning our wheels here with Odom? Because my one question, while I like Odom, and the more and more I look at him, I think, hey, this is good, but is he the guy that gets Mizzou from here to here, or is he that stopgap?
I don't see why he can't be that person. I don't see why Missouri has to put an artificial limit on its success in the SEC just because everybody else has claimed that is what it's going to be. I do believe that the Tigers will always have some sort of presence in the Southeast. I don't think they're going to abandon that. They're not going to go straight back to, hey, the state of Missouri and all points south. Let's just haul that in. It can't be that way because you're going to be able to get good players from the Southeast to play for you now, if anything, because the sales pitch is you have a place to play SEC football, and it's right here in Columbia, Missouri. I mean, that's always going to be able to bring in some level of talent, probably on par with whatever they were getting in Texas throughout those heady years where they were going to Big 12 championship games. I think the thing that Odom might run into more than anything else, at least in the short term, is there will be negative recruiting against Missouri with all the stuff that went on campus. I mean, you're not going to be able to avoid that. I still think that there will be quality players to draw in, but we have to see Barry Odom be the guy to close the deal. And there's no indications that he can't be when it comes to, for maybe the 5-star sort of recruits, like a DGB recruitment, like a Terry Beckner Jr. recruitment. He hasn't had that moment yet. And when he does, he'll earn his reputation and cement it in the minds of Mizzou fans that, yes, this guy can get it done. And the staff, too, younger, more used to the flipping and the grinding, if you will, of having one coaching job this year, then going the next year. It's a good stable of recruiters. I mean, really never stop recruiting is the mantra amongst the top programs in the country, right? Regardless of stars or whatever, you're always on the look for somebody or something else, whether it be a player or a coach. I think Odom gets that. I think he's attuned to that, and I think the staff he has right now is attuned to that. So you're not going to see maybe the staff waiting, and they aren't right now, for making offers in the class of 2017. They've offered a whole – you could make a ship's crew of offensive linemen already that Missouri has offered. I mean, that's just kind of the name of the game for a lot of places, and I think if you want to see that upward mobility the way that other folks have done it, then Odom's a guy who realizes that and might be able to make that happen.
Well, you got to give them time because this team was a hot mess at the end of the year. There's a lot of question marks, a lot of areas that they're building and they're reinforcing, but it's just going to take some time to get those guys in there and see what type of job Odom and his coaching staff can do with coaching those kids up. So I'm willing to be patient, and I'm willing to give him the time and see exactly what happens there. Do we even want to touch on basketball? I guess. Go ahead.
I mean, if you want, yeah. What more is there to say? Every game looks the same, and there's a sophomore class. The Kim Anderson came out and was directly asked, hey, how's the sophomore class improved, or how have they done this year? And then he said, they've had their moments, and that's it. He said they have their moments. Like, I think that Kim is really disappointed with how that's gone this year for the sophomores. I think he felt that there could be more out of them. I think he's feels that the juniors are the freshmen are promising rather going into next year, but that's kind of what we thought last year too. I wouldn't be surprised that if Kim Anderson stays around, and I guess there is some doubt right now because we haven't heard Mack Rhodes say he definitely will be, but if he's around for next year, and I personally think he should be, there's a chance you see a completely different looking team next year than the one you did this. I mean, they're still recruiting the basketball team, Bill, for the class of 2016 right now. And they're not extending offers, but they're taking long looks at players that can help them, especially on the inside. And that means transfers. That means not just one, maybe two, maybe three for the class of 2016 from what's already on the team right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if that comes to pass. I mean, after a year that's going to look like it's a 10-win season at the very most, it gives players every incentive to maybe look for greener pastures, and it gives Anderson and company every incentive to try to look for a better squad, because what's going on right now, it just isn't working.
Yeah, I think he'll be back, but he's got to find some JUCOs or some guys to come in here, and it's a Band-Aid over the situation, but they've got to get some wins for next year if he wants to keep his job. So he's got to do that right away. He's got to get some guys in there that are going to get him some wins, and then give him another cycle or two to get some more recruits in here. I was sold on Anderson. I'm not bailing on him yet, but I agree with you. I think he's got one more year, and he better show something, or that's going to be it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the signal and the noise, right? Like, if you want the signal to be that this team is improving, well, we've not had much proof of that, because the noise is that you've lost now 9 games in a row. You're going on 10 in the next game against Tennessee at home, which hopefully they win, because I hope it's going to be filled up for that Rally for Ryan game. You just make a cash donation and you get to watch basketball for free. Really, Mizzou Arena should be sold out, because Mizzou has elected to make that game more about just basketball. It's making it about fighting pediatric cancer, and what, a 5 going on 6-year-old Ryan Luce has gone through is enough to see the whole community of Columbia and mid-Missouri turn out. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, I mean, you can't really pick them to win any more games because you haven't seen them do it. And if they lost out the season, that would be a point at which, if I were Mack Rhoades, I would say, well, we went on the worst losing streak in team history 2 years in a row. It got even worse this year. What do I have to do something? I'm not sure he wants to do something, but do I have to? I think that's the question he's mulling around these days.
Yeah, and you know what, though? Anderson didn't get a fair shake either. He came into this.
Oh, it was in an awful situation.
Yeah. So, hopefully Rhoades, being the new guy, will say, you know what, let's just wait this out and let's see what we can do. And but we'll see, though. That wasn't his hire, so it'll be interesting to see what. You know what? If they fill that place and these guys play well and they win this game, I think that sends a message to the fan base that, hey, you got to come out and support us and give us some energy. I don't know if that's going to help or not. I think this team is in trouble, and would be surprised if they won another game this year. But you see the same things over and over. So we'll see. There's always next year, right?
Yeah, well, there's always next year. There's always the next 6-7 games, however many they are. I mean, if you all of a sudden see a couple of wins you don't expect, then we're changing the narrative about this team once again. I really like Kim Anderson. I think he's been nothing but forthright with the media. He's an honest dude. He's a good person. And we just have to see which way it goes, because I think we were both in agreement. At some point, you look at the left side of the win-loss columns and say, it just isn't enough. And where is that point for Mack Rhoades? We're going to find out sooner rather than later, perhaps.
Yep. All right. So Monday, you've got your MC event. Do you hit the cash bar before you start the panel discussion?
I don't know. I mean, I'm the MC, so maybe I get special privileges for this sort of thing. Yeah, it's at the Peachtree Banquet Center in Columbia. If you want to look up info, mutigers.com has a post about it saying meet the coaches, and there's an RSVP they want you to make. And I'm sorry, I don't have the email address right off the top of my head. So you have to do a little bit of work. Go to mutigers.com, go to the football tab, and find this event with all the coaches. And then you can RSVP, $10. You can pay right there at the door, 5:30 to 7:30, and I go on at 6:30. So a full hour with Barry Odom and the coaches to learn a little bit more about football and about them.
That's good. Listen, forget mutigers.com. I've got it at MissouriNet.com with this video here. So, yeah, hey, we're listening. We want people to come out and see you. By the way, I always thought
that's dangerous.
I always thought MC stood for more cocktails. So.
Well, we're going to find out, I guess, yeah.
All right, Matt Michaels from KTGR joining us. Nice to visit. We got to do this again more often. I keep saying that, and then, stuff happens.
That happens.
I get kicked out. I get kicked out. You can't find chairs. You're stuck in a broom closet. I'm stuck in an old snack kitchen.
Are those Cheez-Its back there?
No, those are actually pretzels.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. Hold on a second.
They're not gonna make it with you hanging out in there.
No, these are good ones. This is the good stuff. This is rolled gold, and it's cheddar. You know what?
Well, they were cheesy. I'm going to say those are as good as gone now that we pointed them out.
I'm going to eat a couple. I don't.
They're done.
They kicked me out of my studio. Why not? All right, man. I'll bring some to the game tomorrow, all right?
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. Matt Michaels from KTGR, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yep, you got it.
All right. Thanks for watching us here at MissouriNet.com.